I'm Jeff Fritz with SoundStage.com, and I'm joined today by Matt Simmonds, who's the product manager for Bluesound. And Matt, how are you today?
I'm good, Jeff. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. So yeah, we want to talk a little bit about Bluesound and in particular one product that seems to be a big thing for you guys. It certainly has attracted the attention of a lot of our writers and our readers. But before we get into that, tell me a little bit, just give me a little bit of background on Bluesound and what you guys do.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, Bluesound's now been around for actually about 7 years, 8 years, and we set out from really a background in pure hi-fi, so like NAD electronics, PSP speakers, same company. Um, and it was really, we set out to create something for the future, but that still had hi-fi roots and a musical approach to this, multi-room streaming problem. We wanted to be the hi-fi solution for customers looking for that.
Okay, and yeah, and I also notice, and I think it's one of the things that's attracted our readers and our writers alike, are the price points are aggressive. I mean, you guys offer, a lot of features and genuine audiophile design and performance for pretty aggressive price points too.
Right, absolutely. We've always again we're a multi-brand company, but with all of our brands, we've always strived for value. So being able to provide an audiophile experience for an affordable price, an attainable price, and so Bluesound follows right in line with that.
Yeah, so the product that I want to talk about today is the Powernode 2i. It's the newest incarnation of that product for you guys. And, when I was researching it and really looking into it, one of the first things that struck me, it's almost like a modern, completely up-to-date receiver. What people might have bought a receiver for, in the 70s or 80s, it's a product that today can really be the center point of a stereo system. Tell us a little bit about that product, and then I've got a couple of specific applications that I want to ask you about.
I love that you made that connection because that's really exactly how I always position the Power Node. Um, I grew up with an NAD L53 in my home, um, which this was a while ago. It was probably 20 years ago or something, but it was a CD DVD receiver, kind of a two-channel,
Yeah.
all in one. It had that silver aluminum look to it, which was kind of a departure for NAD. But yeah, it was that all in one solution for music first, and then obviously there was the video component too. So I definitely see the Power Node as like the modern version of something like that, an all-in-one solution. And our favorite tagline for this category is just add speakers. So it's got everything you need in this little box, and then all you're doing is adding your favorite pair of bookshelf or even floor standing speakers to it, and you've got a great little all-in-one two-channel system.
Yeah, the power output, can you tell us the power output of the amplifier?
Yeah, yeah, it's 60 watts per channel, two channels. So, and that is again using our NAD heritage. So it's a bit conservative on its rating. It will sound like it's a lot bigger than that.
Yeah, I mean 60 watts per channel, it doesn't sound like a lot, but in most systems that's going to be completely sufficient. And I know you guys are pretty conservative in your power ratings. Have you run into any real speaker limitations, or have you guys found that, hey, this thing, as long as it's reasonable, it can drive most loudspeakers?
Yeah, exactly that. As long as it's reasonable, it'll do it. We've even had it hooked up to some of our flagship PSBs, and it does a pretty adequate job there. So
Okay.
it's a great amp.
So, I talked about some specific applications, and one of the things as kind of an old school audiophile, that attracted me to this product is I'm thinking, okay, well, I've got a set of bookshelf speakers that I haven't used in a few years, and they're just sitting around, and my desktop system is not very good. So if I put this thing on a desktop, right, and I hook up my older bookshelf speakers to it, and I've got this new desktop system. What type of media, what all, give us a kind of a rundown of the connections. So what all can I do with the PowerNode 2i in a system like that?
Right. That's a great use case. So I mean, in terms of inputs, you've got a few. You've got two inputs for optical or analog 3.5 mil. We use they're dual purpose inputs. So we've got a little adapter in the box, and you can use it for optical or 3.5 mil analog. And then the biggest thing for us on this newest version of the PowerNode was we included an HDMI ARC input as well. So you can bring an HDMI audio return channel from your display to the PowerNode as well.
Okay. So give us you mentioned the term use case. So let's say I want to watch YouTube videos at my desk, over this new system I've set up. What connection would I use?
I guess it would depend on your display, right? But or your monitor. But you can easily just be using from your computer, even, right? Just a 3.5 mil analog in, something very simple like that, and you're good to go. Okay,
great. Now, just as far as, we talked about connectivity, and again, this is kind of an old school audiophile question, but speaker cables, will the PowerNode 2i, will it accept just banana plugs or just bare wire or spades? What type of connection to connect to your loudspeakers?
Both banana and just, you could do your bare speaker wire thing if you want.
Okay.
Yeah. We try to make it as simple as possible. So, I mean, I use banana plugs on mine. Just pop them in.
Okay. And so just thinking in general, I'm setting up this system. I can run the HDMI from the monitor from my television into this. I can also connect through USB, correct?
In terms of display, or
if I just had, let's say I was just using a computer and I wanted to go from the computer out to the PowerNode 2i and just use a USB digital input, I could do that as well.
We use our USB input. It's a Type A input, just like your classic USB, and we use that for storage media. So if you had an external hard drive, or even just a USB stick with content on it, with music on it, you can plug that into the USB and actually use that and browse that through our app.
Okay. I guess maybe a better question then would be, I want to stream music. What's the best way to stream music through the PowerNode 2i?
If you're just music, it's not video or anything related to YouTube or anything like that. If it's just music, honestly, the best way to stream it is through BlueOS, through the operating system that runs this thing, and the app that we've created to run it. So if you have again, if you're referring to that audiophile crowd, if you've got a Tidal account, a Tidal Hi-Fi account, or a Qobuz account, or a Deezer account, these music streaming services that have higher quality audio, then all you do is open our app, you log into your account through our app, and then you've got access to the entire service content through our app, and you control it, and all through your smartphone or your iPad or Android tablet, or whatever you want to use. And that's really the best way to listen to music on a PowerNode or any Bluesound product for that matter.
Yeah, I've heard great reports from the field about BlueOS and just the usability of that app. Our own Gordon Brockhouse on SoundStage Simplify, he's raved about it. You guys have had really good success with that app. Can you tell us a little bit about just the user interface and what's been the feedback from the field on that?
I think the biggest piece of feedback, and the biggest thing we've learned is that the app matters a lot. Sometimes sometimes I think, as a user of a Bluesound product, you might actually forget that you're using a physical product. You might actually forget that you've got that speaker or, that amp tucked away somewhere. Or, in the case of our Node 2i, that streamer tucked away somewhere. And because your only touch point is that app on your phone in front of your face often. And so we take a lot of pride in how we develop that app. We know it's important, and whereas we're an engineering company first and foremost, or we were, and so when Bluesound was born, there was less attention paid to things like the app. It was kind of it's a remote control. You need it to control the device, but now it's so ingrained in part of the user experience. It has to be like a core part of what we do. And so, and it is, we have dedicated design teams. We have dedicated app development teams, all in-house here. And so we know, and what I love is that it's getting better all the time. So we're just always learning, always getting feedback from customers, from our channel partners, from the press and reviewers and everything. So it's a living, breathing organism, the app, and I love it. I have a lot of fun with it.
Well, you make a good point about that being the way that you interact with the product, and I'm not sure the exact term you use, the one point of contact maybe that you have with the product is the app. And in back in the day, to go back to the old receiver, it was that big volume knob, right? And you wanted to have that volume knob to have the right feel and the right weight and all of that, because that's what people are going to touch, and it's going to give them that tactile feedback on the quality of the receiver, right? So I guess it makes perfect sense. I'm thinking through it that the app, since that's going to be the place where you contact this product and use this product, it's got to have that same satisfying feel to it that in the old days the volume knob on a receiver would have.
So true. Yeah, so true. And so, even visually too, like it's a feel and a touch thing. It's a how you navigate thing, and then it's just, how does it look? How does it feel? Like can I see album art nicely? Can I read the text? And I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, and there's data and science and psychology behind user experience all the time. But yeah, absolutely. The volume knob's a great volume knob, and display is kind of a great way of thinking about it.
So the one of the last questions I have about the Powernode 2i, we talked about the old school audiophile, and truthfully, the old school audiophile using a new product is probably, your customer support probably has to be on point far more than if it's a new audiophile. Somebody younger that's probably a little bit more with it as far as technology is concerned. But let's take the case of a brand new audiophile. He wants to get into higher quality sound than what he's used to. Do you think that this is a product that honestly they can grow with? Do you think? I guess my question is it just an entry level product, or do you think it could really be the center point of kind of a first real high end audio system?
Yeah, I think it can be both. So, it comes from our pedigree. It comes from our approach to product design and product development. But this truly is an amazing amplifier. We use the Hypex, our UCD Hypex platform that we use in a lot of our NAD amps. And so this is gonna sound really good. For an audiophile who's maybe even just trying to get into the streaming thing, like if this is if the streaming world is a new approach, and you do have that extra pair of speakers, or a pair of speakers you've always wanted to try, and you've got those around, this is a great option. This product is a great option for that. And then I do see it as entry level hi-fi. Like I do see it at, maybe it's slightly more expensive than entry level, maybe, but this is, again, for someone, I'm in my 30s, someone in their 30s who's maybe just just starting to get into the hi-fi world, into okay, what is better sound? Like, how can what are some of these companies that approach audio in a different way, in a different philosophy? So, doing your research and stuff, this would be that exact type of product where it's a little bit of a step up from some of the other things that they would see walking into a Best Buy or something. But it can be foundational for a system, I think.
Yeah, well, and one of the old audiophile mantras is, you buy a good amplifier and it's always going to be a good amplifier. And I think if I were advising someone that was buying a new system, I would tell them don't skip on the amp, because that's something that it's going to limit the speakers that you can use. It's going to limit the ultimate sound quality that you're going to get from your system. So I like the fact that you've got a real amp in the Powernode 2i, because that would be something, if it were just kind of an afterthought, or there were some real limitations there, it wouldn't be something I would recommend. But the fact that it's got that Hypex based amplifier with I know some NAD secret sauce in there, you guys have got a good, like you said, a good foundation for this product. Well, the last question, Matt, I have for you, and hopefully we're coming out of this lockdown pretty soon, but since you've been cooped up like the rest of us, what has been your favorite recent listening experience? Either a piece of music, or something at Lynbrook or Bluesound. What's really caught your ear lately?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's so true, eh? We've all been like, just this is a time and a moment for just music discovery, music listening, and that part of it's actually been kind of great. There's this it's a artist in the track specifically for me. There's this Canadian artist. We're Canadian. I'm
Right.
sitting in Toronto right now. But there's this Canadian artist. His name is Leif Vollebeck. And I've known about him for a little while. He's from Ottawa, I think. But there's this one song, a track that I just keep going back to for him, and it's just like soothing, peaceful, gives you that easy feeling. Track is called Elegy.
Okay.
And I think through these last few months, just going back to that one constantly, just another day of news, and just go back to that song. It's
Well, you know what? I think I'm gonna cue that up tonight and give it a whirl. That sounds like a good recommendation.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah. Well, Matt, I really appreciate your time today, and you've really, I've got to say, you've piqued my interest on the Powernode 2i. I mean, I know that we've got other writers that have written about that product, and it's been out for a little while, but it just sounds so enticing. I got to find a desktop somewhere and set up that system that we were talking about.
Desktop music, like pure music listening, or for your TV, it really has a use case. It really has a use in many use cases. So I think it's a Swiss Army knife and a multitasker for sure.
Super. All right, Matt. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thanks, Jeff.